Hey guys, welcome to 3 and Out. You can check out the podcast below in the description. And here's what I need you to do. Make sure you subscribe to the Volumes YouTube channel to stay up to date to everything we're doing here on 3 and Out and the Volume. Let's start with the game. And I think we're overthinking this a little bit. Like, if you're a little overweight, look at your diet. Like, if you're eating Ben & Jerry's every night, cut that out. If you're drinking soda every night, cut that out. I bet you'll lose some weight. If you go, I don't know where all my money's going. I don't know, print out 2 months of bank statements. See what you're spending money on that you can't avoid. And maybe you'll have a little more money in your bank account. Right? Some basic things in life we just overthink, yet we'll complain about and we'll freak out about. This team sucks. What is going on with the Chiefs? It's over. The dynasty, everyone keeps saying that. The dynasty is over. Here's what I know, and I've watched the majority of their game. I just came right after the game. I don't have these numbers in front of me. But I know from watching them play, it feels like at minimum they're good for 2 turnovers a game. Sometimes 3 or 4. A couple picks from Mahomes, whether that be his fault, whether that be tip balls and fumbles. And obviously tonight they had a bunch of penalties. There is a reason. If you play football, Pee-wees. I don't even know if Pee-wees exist. When I was a kid, Pee-wees, you wore pads. From high school to college to the pros. One thing that coaches consistently say on a daily basis, turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. Defensive coaches talk about wanting turnovers. Offensive coaches talk about not committing turnovers. Head coaches talk about winning the turnover battle. Because if you win the turnover battle, you win games. If you turn the ball over, it is going to be very difficult. And right now, for all the hoopla about their defense sucking, hint, their defense hasn't been that good for several years. Mahomes, is he regressing? Here's what I know. Minimum 28 teams wouldn't even flinch, would do anything to get him. Kelsey Hill, still sweet. But they are turning the ball over at what feels like a historic rate. Minimum every game, 2 or 3 turnovers. It is, I don't care if you're playing the Giants or you're playing the 85 Bears or the 93 Cowboys or the 2001 Ravens. It doesn't matter. You could be playing the shittiest team in the league or the best team in the league. If you're going to turn the ball over and you're going to lose the turnover battle, it is going to be difficult. Look at tonight. They drive right down the field to open the game. He throws a pick. Now, because you're playing Daniel Jones, he throws a pick right back. But for them, in the red zone, you have to score. In the last several years, they've been scoring in that spot. So instead, they get a pick right after. They come away with 7 points. Who knows? Maybe they're up 14-0 before you even blink. Then late in the game's kind of tight. What happens? One of the best players in franchise history puts the ball on the ground. And I saw a great quote. There was a fumble this weekend. I don't know if it was on Saturday or Sunday. And a former player tweeted that one of his coaches once said, he said, the coach, I think said in a team meeting, listen, we are going to practice ball security. But I do know no player in the history of football has ever tried to fumble, right? Sometimes when you drop the ball, it could be a concentration issue. But for the most part with fumbles, it's a good play by the defense. Every once in a while, if you're Shady McCoy, you're carrying it like a loaf of bread. For the most part, 5 points of pressure, guys have it close to their body. The defense makes a great fucking play. They're not trying to fumble the ball. But right now, for whatever reason, when it rains, it pours. Actually, it's raining right outside my door right now. But their turnovers are coming in bunches literally every freaking game, and they're losing the turnover battle. Now, tonight, they're more talented than Giants. Andy Reid on his worst day is better than Joe Judge on his best day. The Chiefs were not going to lose that game. But it was way closer than it should have been because of the fumble and the picks. And really, the guy jumped off sides. Patrick knew he had a free play. But that's where he's at right now. Before you realize that he had the free play, you're like, oh my God. Even Peyton was like, did he just throw a pick? Good play by the DB. But they're just off. And sometimes, and Michael Irvin and Peyton were talking about this, it's a confidence thing. And you kind of see it. It's easy from the shoulders down. Get your body moving. Get it going. A great athlete will figure it out. From the head up, gaining confidence is difficult, right? It takes a while to get it. But once you get it, you become Kelsey, Mahomes, Hill, Coach Reid. You have it. But you can lose it fast. And it feels like right now the Chiefs have just lost some of their confidence. They still have 3 elite players. They still are really good. We're going to learn a lot about them just this next week. Really, these next 3 weeks, right? The Packers, the Raiders, and the Cowboys. They win 2 out of 3 of them, they're right, they'll make the playoffs. If they lose, 2 out of 3, they'll probably be in some trouble. Just that simple, especially if one of the losses to the Raiders. The Raiders game's a must, and then they got to win either the Packers or the Cowboy game. It's just period, point blank, end of story. But the only way they're going to win these games, they don't need to retool their fucking offense. They're not going to get new players on defense. Their defense isn't that good. It hasn't been that good. They have to stop turning the ball over. Right before I walked in here turning the TV, Peyton mentioned that. They got to stop turning the ball over. He's got to stop throwing interceptions. When the ball hits their hands, they have to catch it. And when the ball's in their arms, they can't put it on the dirt or the ground. I guess there is no more dirt now that we don't play in Oakland anymore. But if they're going to turn it over like that, every opponent's going to be in the game. I think that's the Chiefs' issue. Turnovers. Other issues they've had before. But if they have one turnover these next 3 weeks, they could win all 3 of them. But if they're going to average 2 or 3, they could lose all 3 of them. Coach Reed would tell you that. Just a reality. And then the other side, the Giants, even bad teams give you pretty good efforts typically on Monday night or Sunday night or Thursday night game. Thursday night maybe not, but Monday night games for sure. It's a big deal for players, for coaches. We're all watching. 15, 20 million people, they know it. We all know it. It's why, for the most part, bad teams kind of slug it out. And the Giants gave good effort tonight. They forced a turnover, right? They make plays. But it's a quarterback league. And Daniel Jones is just kind of a guy. He can run. He's fast. He actually doesn't have a terrible arm. But for whatever reason, he's not accurate whenever he has to be accurate. He doesn't have great pocket presence whenever he has to have pocket presence. And I'm not putting the last drive. When you get the ball back with 30 seconds field goal, I had no faith Daniel Jones was going to drive. Is Joe Judge a good coach? Probably not. But how can I judge him with Daniel Jones? I've seen him in enough spots now where their team actually plays pretty competitive football. They feel like they're pretty tough, but they don't win any games. And if you have a quarterback that, for the most part, is a bottom 5, 8 guy in the league, and I know he's played decently at points and times this year, but tonight was a good example. Just misses too many bunnies. Now, I don't expect him to make some Mahomes, Josh Allen-like plays, but you have to make just the basic plays. When you get a wide open layup, you have to hit it. I don't expect you to hit a fadeaway 3 like Steph Curry, but if you're wide open for a jumper and you're in the NBA, I need you to hit it. Daniel Jones doesn't do that. And, I don't know what the other options, they shouldn't have taken Dwayne Haskins, but Daniel Jones at 6, let's face it, the evidence is in. He shouldn't have gone that high. He wasn't worthy of that pick. To me, he looks like a 2nd or 3rd round pick. That's probably what he is. And he'll not be on the Giants in a couple years. He'll go somewhere to be a backup, maybe for a guy like Andy Reid, maybe for a guy like Kyle Shanahan, maybe resurrect his career. But I think his days as a starter is starting to, slowly coming to an end. He's not a starting quarterback. He's not good enough. He's just not. And when you're not good enough, and then the team around you is not great, your team every year is going to win 3 or 4 games. And the Giants are a debacle. There's going to be a lot of, noise about firing Dave Gettleman. That's an easy thing. Dave Gettleman never should have been hired in the first place. Joe Judge, young coach, depending on what Mara thinks about it. To me, the move, and I'm not going to spend too much time, I'd blow the whole thing up, just completely start over. But it starts and ends whenever you take a quarterback in the top 10 at the number 6 overall pick, and he can't even sniff being a top 20 player at his position. Your team's not going to be that good. Like the Chiefs thing, let's not overthink this. When you have a below average quarterback on a below average team, what do you get? A bad team. Always been that way in the NFL. Thanks for watching 3 and Out. You can check out the podcast below in the description, and make sure you subscribe right now to the Volumes YouTube channel.